today.
Hey, how are you doing?
I'll be your waitress this evening. Is this your first time here?
Nope, eat here all the time. Food is just fantastic.
Oh, great. I will be sure to pay compliments to our chef.
Well, that's not really going to be necessary. See, I don't really believe in chefs.
Okay. I'm sorry. Did you say you don't believe in chefs?
That's right. It's not for me. You can believe what you want, but until there's proof, I'm not buying it.
Well, proof. Isn't the food on the plates proof enough for you? What more do you need?
Look, just because you choose to believe in chefs doesn't mean I have to. It's okay, really.
Well, but you do know that we have a real chef here in the house.
I understand. If believing in chefs makes you feel better, that's cool. I find it unnecessary and, frankly, pointless.
Okay, but you did say that you enjoyed the food, though, right?
Well, of course. I just don't need to be preached to about some chef who you believe made it.
Okay, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to preach at you or anything.
Look,
It's just...
if there was a real chef, why hasn't he revealed himself?
Oh, well, he did. He was out here just an hour ago, but you weren't here for that, sir.
So I'll just have to take your word for it?
Oh, no. I can go get him for you if you would like to meet him. He'd be happy to come out.
Enough already. Can I just have my meal in peace without you imposing your crazy belief system on me?
Okay, I'm sorry. It's just that it's really
Actually,
not making any sense.
You know, on second thought, the steak here is a little undercooked. That sauce is a little spicy for my taste. If you could, please, go relay that message.
I would be happy to. It's just that who exactly would you like me to tell?
The famous film director Tim Burton said, "One person's craziness is another person's reality." There's a conversation that happens in my house on a regular basis. It goes something like this. My wife will say, "Dear, could you run downstairs and bring me the goldfish crackers?" "Yes, dear, I'll go." And I'll go to the kitchen, I'll open the cabinet, I'll look, I don't see anything, I'll go back upstairs. "Yeah, we don't have any." "Don't tell me we don't have any. Did you look?" "Yeah." "No, did you look hard? Did you look with your eyes? Did you look everywhere?" Well, I just looked in the cabinet. We don't have any." "Don't say we don't have any. It's probably right in front of your face. It's probably right under your nose." "Yeah, I didn't see it. We must be out." "Don't say we're out of it. If I come down there and they're just sitting right out in the open," you know the story. I'm reminded on a regular basis, because my wife talks just like that, right? Spot on impression. No, I am reminded on a regular basis that I, Jon Waller, have the capacity to look right at something and not even see it. I have the uncanny ability to walk into a room, look for something, probably look right at it, and walk right out of the room and say it's not there. Drives my wife crazy. I'm that guy. And it's not that I can't find it, it's that I have the nerve to say it's not there. We all actually have the capacity to look at something and miss it. We all have the ability to look at a red and white sign made of metal and it's in an octagon shape with some characters on it, but never actually read that it says stop. C.S. Lewis says it's like you put a food in a dog's bowl and you point to the bowl, but the dog just comes to your finger, right? It doesn't follow the sign. We have this natural tendency to make assumptions that we know things exist or don't based on whether we see it. In fact, I could sit here on the stage and say, there are no paper clips in this whole room. But there's only one way I could make that statement, and that's if I had actually what? Searched the whole room. It's like people who say there is no other life on any other planets. Well, the best answer is, yeah, we never found any. Of course, we've only been to one other planet, but we've never seen it. So enter the man who says, there's no God. I admit my instinct is to answer him like my wife. Did you look? Did you look everywhere? It's probably right in front of your face. And you missed it. You missed it. Our society has reduced religion and God and spirituality to something that is merely subjective. Hey, I believe in God. You don't believe in God. You're just walking in your truth, and I'm just walking in my truth. And we're cool, right? There's just one problem. According to your truth, my truth isn't true. I mean, you cannot function in a society that way. Fortunately, society is based on objective reality. And that's what I want to talk about this morning. We're beginning a series, The Truth About God, the truth about us, the truth about Jesus, the truth about everybody else, the truth about marriage and science and miracles and evil and all kinds of things we're going to be discussing this summer. But it's all based on one fundamental principle, and that is, at least we all agree that there is such a thing as truth in an objective world. Really. You see, in a subjective world, 2 + 2 could be whatever you want it to be, right? And in a subjective world, your car keys could just open whatever car you wanted. You would never need a password to log into anything. You just log into whatever you want by typing whatever you want. But reality doesn't work that way. The world is based on objective reality. In the objective world, 2 + 2 is 4, and we actually agree, whether we agree on God or not, we agree that the answer is 4, because that is true. And we all may not believe in God, but we all believe in truth. Yeah. Only an insane person would say there's no such thing as truth, right? After all, that statement in itself would have to be true. So one man believes in God, another man doesn't. And if you're that guy, I would like to make an appeal to you today. This message is directly making an appeal to you who do not believe in God. Atheist, as some would call it. And I will let you know my theory from the beginning. My theory is that God exists objectively. You've probably looked right at it and missed it. Yeah, that's what I think. But before we get there, let's talk about what we have in common. We have a lot more in common than you may think. As I said, we all believe in truth. I'm reminded of a verse in Scripture in Genesis 28. Scripture says, Jacob woke from his sleep and said, surely the Lord is in this place, and I did not know it. Even Jacob, the son of Isaac, grandson of Abraham, completely missed the presence of God. Didn't realize it. I submit maybe perhaps that might be what's going on. Kind of in my subjective mind, I didn't believe we had goldfish crackers, so I just said it's not there. But objectively, yeah, they were there. So let's start with what we agree on. Number one, can we agree? The truth is the truth whether you believe it or not. 2 + 2 is 4, whether you believe it or not. It's not going to change it. Number two, believing in something doesn't make it true. Believing in something does not make it true. I believe I can run across 95. That doesn't mean I can. R. Kelly believes he can fly, right? It doesn't make it true just because you believe something. Next, can we agree? Some people just don't want to hear the truth, right? Some of us would rather not open the bills, right? Some of us don't want to know our grades. Can we agree also? Some people don't want to tell the truth. Yeah. It's election year. Right? Let's agree on this, that imitations, they don't disprove anything. Imitations are actually evidence of something that is real. My children love to go to this particular children's museum in Harrisonburg, Virginia, that just has fake everything. It's like a whole world. They have a fake grocery store you can shop in. They have fake kitchens and fake laundry you can do. They have a fake garage. You can work on the fake cars. They have a fake TV station where you can build a newscast. They have fake farms. They have fake theaters. You can put on a show and run the lights and all that. It's this whole fake world, and my children love it. That doesn't mean the real things don't exist. The fact that there's fake money means, yeah, there's real money. That's why we have fake money. Imitations are evidence of something that is real. We agree. How about this? Truth is exclusive. 2 + 2 is 4. It's only 4. It's always 4. That's just the nature of truth. Next, truth is discovered, not created. 2 + 2 was always 4. No one made that up. No one invented that. No one decided that. No one took a vote and decided it shall be 4. It was always 4. Next, can we agree that entertainment does not equal truth? Our entire economy runs on this on this premise that we can advertise all kinds of things to get you to buy something if you would just believe that it's true according to the commercial. How about this one, the next one? The truth is the truth in spite of its messenger. Yeah. I don't care if your math professor says 2 + 2 is 5. And Kim Kardashian says it's 4. Believe it or not, she was right. In spite of the messenger, the truth is still the truth. I know there's nothing spiritual here. We're just agreeing on what we have in common with everybody, right? Finally, objective truths cannot contradict each other. In other words, she can't say it's 6 and he can't say it's 8 and so-and-so says it's 9 and everybody's right. That's impossible. That's impossible. So, just some common ground that we have. We all believe in truth, and we all basically agree on what the nature of truth is. Easy enough? Now let's jump to a hypothetical game. Imagine if you had to hire God. Let's say there was a position open for the position of God, and we are now seeking all beings in the universe to step up and audition for this prospect. What sort of characteristics or qualifications would a being have to have in order to qualify? It's an interesting question. I actually conducted this survey for many years, working with many atheist students. And check this out. We'll have a little Family Feud style. There are 4 answers that would come up every year. even from the atheist. Number one, perfect. If there is a God, God must be perfect. You can't have a God that makes mistakes, right? You can't have a God that drops the ball sometimes. Number two, in common, they would all come up with this, some version of this. God must be the ultimate, the best, the supreme, the strongest, the smartest, the fastest, the most talented. You can't have a God that's, really good at basketball, but terrible at the piano. It wouldn't work. God would have to be the best at everything, the ultimate. Otherwise, he's disqualified. Number three, God would have to be eternal. Because you can't have anybody older than God, right? You can't have God dies, then we got to decide who's God after God, right? God has to always be. And fourthly, if any being were to be God, that being must be everywhere. He can't be God in here, but I can run around back and he doesn't know what I'm doing. He can't be God in America, but not somewhere else. That just wouldn't work. That being or that person would be immediately disqualified. And in fact, these simple four characteristics that atheists put forward as these would be the qualifications in order for there to be a God, these are the very arguments that they will use against the Christians. And they will say, see, look at the God of the Bible. He's certainly not perfect. We've heard about asteroids wiping out species. Whoops, that's a mistake, right? God's not perfect. Or we watch the news and say, oh, God must not be very powerful. He's not that in control. See? This is how it goes. Never latching on to the irony that the atheist has expectations on a being that he doesn't believe exists. That the atheist will pass judgment and set qualifications on a position that he does not believe exists. So, suppose you don't believe in God, but you still believe in truth. We've already established that, and we agree on that. I get it. You don't believe in God, but you believe in truth. And if you ever found something that met these four qualifications, that being would qualify to be God. I get it. But you still believe in truth. I've got news for you. Truth is perfect, ultimate, eternal, and everywhere. You see, if truth has any lies mixed in it, it's not truth anymore, right? If your husband comes home late and he gives you 80% of the story, that's not true. In fact, we implore people to swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, nothing but the truth. So help me God. Because that is the nature of truth. In order for truth to be true, it's got to be perfectly true. In fact, truth is the ultimate, most strongest force in a courtroom. Court is not simply about finding out who's innocent or guilty. It's finding out the truth. You can have 10 witnesses that say, such and such happened, but then somebody brings in a videotape that shows something else. Well, they got to go with the videotape because the truth is stronger than any testimony. 2 + 2 has always been 4. It will always be 4. 2 + 2 is 4 everywhere you go. So let's get this straight. If there were a God, even the atheist would agree that this being would have to be perfect, ultimate, eternal, and everywhere. The same guy believes in truth. And guess what? Truth is perfect, ultimate, eternal, and everywhere. That means everything we universally believe about truth, we instinctively believe about God. Therefore, if there is a God, God must be truth. truth is real, so is God. Even by your own rules, God is real. Just as sure as truth is real. Now I know, not so fast, preacher. Truth is not a person. It's not a conscious being. Really? Is that what you think? There's only one man who has walked this earth that has made this claim. It is perhaps the most conceited, the most deluded, or the most important claim ever. And that is this: no man comes to God except through me. And by the way, I am the truth. John chapter 14, verse 6. Jesus says to him, I am the way. I am the truth. I am the life. No man comes to the Father except through me. So what? What do we make of this? Everything we universally believe about truth, we instinctively believe about God. Truth meets all the qualifications to be God. If there's a God, God must be truth. Truth is real, therefore God is real. So let's go back to where we started, where we agreed, because I feel like we're starting to disagree a little bit. Let's go back to where we started. We all agreed that the truth is the truth, whether you believe it or not. Listen, if God is truth, then God is God, whether you believe it or not. We all agreed that believing in something doesn't make it true. And you're right. If God is truth, then guess what? Believing in something doesn't make it God. Some people don't want to hear the truth. Likewise, some people don't want to hear about God. We all agreed some people certainly don't want to tell the truth. Likewise, some people don't want to talk about God. How about this next one? Imitations are just evidence of something that's real, right? That's why they're there. You know what that means? All them fake churches and fake pastors and fake religions are just evidence of a real God. Truth is exclusive. It might hurt your feelings, but that's reality. And if God is truth, God is exclusive. Truth is discovered, not created. And as sure as I can tell you today, we're not making this thing up. God is discovered. God is not created. Entertainment does not equal truth. And if God is truth, don't get it twisted. Entertainment does not equal God. Just as we said, the truth is the truth in spite of its messenger. Before you pile on those hypocrite pastors, God is still God in spite of his messenger. Objective truth cannot contradict each other. The nice way to put it is, well, we can't all be right. Not in an objective reality. We cannot all be right. Somebody says there's a God and somebody says there's not. They can't both be right. They cannot. But there's still a problem, an elephant in the room. Take a look at the city of Lisbon, Portugal. November 1st, 55. One of the worst earthquakes in European history struck the city of Lisbon, followed by a tsunami, followed by raging floods and raging fires at 9:40 in the morning. On November 1st, All Saints' Day, up to maybe even 100,000 people lost their lives that morning, sitting in church. Yeah. Worshiping. Incidentally, shall we say, the red light district of town went relatively untouched. How do you make sense of that? And even to this day, there are many prominent atheists on the speaking circuit who refer to this, the Lisbon Earthquake, the Lisbon Earthquake. You can't believe in a God when you see the Lisbon Earthquake. How in the world could there be a God and allow all of his followers to just be wiped out in church? That's a hard question. I'll raise you one. I have a hard question to ask. Why does my friend Tommy Scott, who sits here every Sunday, teaches Sunday school, teaches Awana, leads the men's prayer breakfast, is devoted to his wife and his family and this church, yet he has cancer? It's a hard question. I don't know the answer. You could put a calculus BC exam in front of me and I wouldn't know those answers either. But I wouldn't turn it in and say, you don't exist. You could put an AP bio test in front of me and I wouldn't know a lot of those answers. But I'm not going to throw it back and say must not exist because I don't know the answer. I believe there is an answer. I just don't know the answer. I'm being honest with you. I just don't know. And that's okay. In an objective world, that's okay. It's not a problem for me to not be able to understand why God allows certain suffering to happen at certain times in certain people's lives. I don't know. But it gets really interesting when an atheist looks at this. The atheist argument goes something like this. There is no God. Just look at all the suffering in the world. Which is another way of saying there is suffering in the world because there is no God. Which is just another way of saying that, well, if there was a God, there would not be suffering in the world. Which obviously leads to the next point, that the world would be better if there was a God. I wish there was a God. For the atheist to point out tremendous suffering in the world doesn't actually expose anything about God. It really exposes themselves and exposes the fact that they are honestly longing for there to be a God. But I will tell you this, it's a disingenuous longing. It's fake. Because if an atheist is really honest with themselves, they would have to say, for the sake of the world, I hope there is a God. For the sake of Tommy Scott, I hope there's a God. But for the sake of myself and the decisions I've made and the life choices I've made and the lifestyle I have lived by denying and rejecting God, I hope there's not. That's the truth. It has been said that those who think the Bible is wrong actually hope the Bible is wrong. I want to leave you with a challenge. If you don't believe in God today, I ask two things of you. I ask that you would be both rational and brave. Because a person who is both rational and brave will ask themselves this question: what if I'm wrong? An irrational person would never ask that question. Irrational people think they're always right. Amen. Someone who's not a brave person would never have the guts to really ask that. But I challenge you today, if you don't believe in God, I want you to sit there quietly and ask yourself this question: what if I'm wrong? What if God is real? What if the Bible was right? Then you know what? Wow, I'm still here. If I'm wrong and the Bible was right and God is real, he could have squashed me like a bug, and he hasn't. If I'm wrong and God is real, then wow, I could be in a lot of trouble. If I'm wrong and God is real, then wow, he has given me one more chance. One more chance to redeem what's left of my life. One more chance to forgive and heal and give me that wholeness that I've always wanted. One more chance to have the peace that I don't have. One more chance to have the security I don't have. Around here we call God's grace amazing grace. And I would say that if you've been wrong, the truth is God has been pretty good to you. Because you're here. You're here. With the offer on the table. I'm not asking you to do anything irrational. There's a lot of thou shalt nots in the Bible, but thou shalt not think isn't one of them. No, I want you to use your brain, use your logic, use your reason, and all of your rational faculties to make an informed and intelligent choice this morning to accept the objective reality that God is. And get your life. Prioritize your life accordingly. Start a journey today, figuring out what that means. It doesn't make you a religious fanatic because you believe in God or that you accept that God exists. You don't have to pretend you like Christian music. If you chose to accept that God exists this morning, it doesn't make you less intelligent than you were yesterday. Not at all. I do have a warning for you, though. Just like with word searches and little seek and finds and where's Waldo and all those things, little internet memes that pass around. Click like when you see it. I don't know about you, but once you see it, you cannot not see it, right? Every time you see the picture, like, oh, there it is right there. How could anybody not see it? It's so obvious. And on behalf of Christians, I'm sorry. Some of us are like that. We just don't understand how you don't see God. Because once you've seen him, once you've experienced him, it's like it's always been there. We're going to close with a song that just says, I will walk by faith. Take that step today. follow your heart, follow your mind. It does make sense. Just as sure as you believe in the truth, truth himself has met your qualifications. God's real. Don't miss what's right in front of your face.